Are you
How
ready?
are you? Yes.
And I'm great, by the way. How are you? Are you
Good.
good?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about. I just pulled up your email. I was waiting for half a second. And I'm very excited about this one.
Oh my gosh.
Um yeah, I'm very excited about this one. So it was like you're like, can we have your help? But I'm like, oh my God, can we? Like, this is what I do. Of course. It's like
Right, right.
having it's like if your dad or your mom like knows how to put together cars and like the kid comes up, can you help me with my homework? And you're like, yeah, of course. Like that's kind of how exciting this
Right.
is. So I just want to let you know that. So number one, obviously when we're channeling, what we're doing is we're asking somebody's soul, their consciousness to come in,
Mhm,
and they're here. Interesting. And we are asking to show up, tickle my brain, and he's talking
mhm.
and telling me what's going on with them, what happened to them, what are the circumstances, how they better can communicate with you, all the above. When they do talk, they give me signs and symbols, they give me feelings and emotions, they put me in different situations that may have happened to you or them or will happen to you. And the last one is I get words. He's like, gosh, okay, come on already. And I'm like, well, thank you. But then he calls me ma'am at the same time. So he's actually like a nice guy too.
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, what are you gonna do? And then he like apologizes for not meaning to sound rude, and he doesn't. He then he makes a snide joke about saying how he respects his elders, and I was like, thanks.
Oh my
So it's
god.
a whole thing. That's kind of like the personality. What? He didn't want. What'd you not do? Oh, he keeps doing like this with you. So that means y'all are connected. You are
Oh
connected.
yeah.
You are connected.
Sure.
Oh, you know that. What? He sits on your bed a lot. He's with you. He's like physically here. Is he a lot lighter? Hold on.
Okay.
Did he like die of an accidental overdose or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. He'd go
Good.
like this. I said, what happened to you? He goes, I just died. I just died. Man, God, man, that's so quick. I've never had anybody like show up that
It
fast
was
to it.
so sudden.
Dad, that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh God, oh God. I was stupid. I don't think he's a drug addict though. He's just having a
No, he
stupid time.
wasn't.
He's not. No, he's a light, airy, fun individual. And he's like, this is what he's doing. He's like, and like the feelings when
Mhm.
he's saying this come across as words. Like that's how this is.
Yeah.
What? He loves you. He misses you.
Like,
I know, he hits you. We're getting old, right? You're not. Is he like actively trying to grow that out though?
yeah, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. He goes like, this is what he's doing. And I go,
Mhm.
what are you doing? And he's making me feel thick hair. And he's talking about, yeah, it's about down here. And I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
Stop. Which
That's
means he's actively really, yeah.
exactly
He
that.
what? They're so sad. They're so sad. But what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? No, mom is not. Mom is still like seriously mourning the
Oh
loss.
yeah.
Like, oh
100%.
my God. He goes like this. I don't, when mom watches this, I don't want her to be upset. He says, like, my mom is acting like a nut job. And I don't want you to say like it's bad like that. He just says like what it means. And that's not his exact word. It's like how crazy sad, how intensely sad and mourning that
Yes.
she is. Maybe there's a better word for it, but that's what showed up. And he's talking about how she views him all the time as that's her baby. That's her baby.
Mhm.
Like views it as his little hand. And he's what? I don't know. What do I do? What do I do? Do I just talk? Yeah, that's literally how he is. He's walking back and forth. Well, what do you want to talk about? It's only been like a year. Nothing's really changed. Really? So he still has his room and they clean his room and everything. Wait, is this his room?
No, but my mom in the old house we used to live in, My
Hmm.
mom kept it there for a while, but then she cleaned it all up as soon as she
Cleaned
was
it.
okay to go in the room.
Yeah, cleaned your room. Okay. He talks about how they left it. Oh no, 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 come back. Hang on. I'm gonna sit here for a second.
Okay.
Hold on. The connection's being there we go. Okay. Okay,
Okay.
you're back. Okay. So he says he goes like this. He says they kept it the same, they kept it the same, they kept it the same. And he says they go in and they clean my room, or they went in and they cleaned my room. Like that's what that is.
Mhm.
I wish they kept it. Now I don't know where to go. I'm like, yeah, you do, but it's okay. What? Interesting. I wonder if he's like kind of become your guide, because he's talking about how he connects with you, and he says like you just have kind of like this knowing now.
Yeah.
Like you'll just get stuff, or things will just happen, and how he finds this so fun. He's talking about doing that, and it's like ting, like things just show up. He says, what about him? What? So it was fentanyl.
Yep. Yeah, the report came back. He had fentanyl and I think marijuana in his system. Yeah.
I said, what was it? What did you do? Can you tell me? And he goes, I just wanted to get high. And I'm like, obviously. That's what he did. I go, okay, what? Who? Who thought he was asleep?
My mom thought she walked into him in his bed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He goes like this. He goes, he's just talking. I go, so what happened after that? He goes, it was so weird. And he's talking about just like laying there.
Yeah.
And he's like, they just thought I was asleep. So he's talking about how he was left there for
Yeah,
a
because
lot longer.
he used to get in his own head, and sometimes he would just
Mhm,
like go in his room, shut the door, and just like sleep for hours and hours. And he
mhm.
was supposed to watch my youngest brother that night, and my mom was getting ready for a wedding, and she went to go open the door and be like, "Hey, like, are you ready to watch your younger brother?" She realized she was a EMT, and she knew like right away, like after the fact, that he was passed away for a very long time after that.
Yeah, like he's talking about standing by his body for like at least 6 hours. Like, yeah. Oh, that's odd. I mean, that's not odd. That's so
Yeah.
crazy that he can show that. I mean, I guess in a way it is too. What? Interesting. He's talking about coming to God, or coming to source, or whatever you want to call it. And he's talking about how he sat by his body. He had a long time to think about it, and he just didn't know what to do because he didn't know if he was going to be in trouble. There is that nervousness to it. Um, Weird. Have you heard him say like hey to you, or like hey, or like heard him like talk to you like that?
Sometimes, like,
Okay,
I have to be in like a very like sleepy state
sleepy.
almost. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what he's talking about. He's talking about you like being in between sleep, or like right before you sleep, and it's like somebody going, "Hey," or
Mhm.
"Tay," or something
Yeah,
like that.
yep.
Yeah, that's him. What? I wonder if he had. Hold on.
Mhm.
He didn't have a high voice, but he didn't have a crazy low voice for a guy. Um, he almost had. I don't know what you call that word for it. Like nasally, I guess, in a way,
Yeah,
kind of a
yeah,
little bit.
yep. I know
Yeah,
exactly what you
yeah.
mean.
You know what I'm talking? Yeah, because you can hear him, like I can hear the frequency, but so what? I'm seeing what he can do. I'm asking him what. He says he goes with you in your car, and I said why? He says I'm not a dumbass. I can fly. I'm like, okay, so he rides with you in your car, but he can fly. You have his picture in your car?
I do. I have it right in like what the sunshade.
Do you
I
really?
do. Yeah.
sweet. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. Yeah, he's like, I don't ride, I fly. And I was like, well, why are you talking about the car? I said, is there something big in that? And he goes, he's like, my dumb face. And I'm like, okay, you have his picture in there. He says, that's cool. Nobody carries pictures in their car. Like, that's not a thing. What? He does. He says he's cooler than you. He
He
says he's
always
cooler than you.
he always
That's what
thought
he
that.
says.
Yeah.
Yeah. He goes like this. He goes, you know, I'm cooler than you, right? Like, we know this. And I'm like, oh my God,
He
I'll
was
tell her
the
that.
extrovert of our family. Like, didn't care at all, which is like
No.
talk to strangers basically.
Yep. And he wants you to know that. He is so fun. He's like, he's talking with his hands to me like that, except a lot of times what? He gets into like heated debates, or he can get into like heated fun arguments too, like just for poking fun. Like, what do you mean the chicks were not pink? They're white. This is why they're better. I don't know, just like stupid things
He
like
was
that.
always arguing.
Yes,
Always.
that's what he keeps saying. Like, he what? No, you're not. Ah. Okay, are you like moving on? I'm sorry, this is so crazy. All right, I said, so what are you doing now? This is that whole train of thought. He says, now I'm gonna get her married, get her moved out. She's done with school. He's like, I'm gonna get her pregnant, and we're just gonna see the whole life all the way there. She doesn't want that, but that's the power I have. I go, no, you're not. That's why I laugh at that. I said, she's done with school, right? He's like, yeah. He's talking about you going to like the next level. Are you going back for your
Yeah, I
master's?
just got engaged over in July 4th.
He's not serious. Wait, what? Are you pregnant? No, you're not. Shut
No,
up. No, you're
I shouldn't
good.
be.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Amy, you almost give me a heart attack.
I may. You may give me a heart attack. I'm just going to say, but you're not taking birth control.
No.
Ah! Sorry, he's talking about that. He goes like this. That's not a normal thing to come up with. I said, why would you bring up pregnancy? And he goes, when the time is right.
Stop.
And I'm like, stop. So he's just talking about making it happen. Like, think of the little hands. He says, what? Are you like waiting like 2 years or like a year fully to get like married?
Yeah, because well, right now we're still living in his
Cool.
parents' house. Like I moved out of the house that he was currently in for like a year or so before he passed. So like I'm waiting for him to like get his like career going. So we're just waiting. We don't have like a set date or anything like that.
This is what he says. He goes, why are you waiting like 2 years? Why are you going that far? What are you doing? What are you doing, Taylor? Why? Why are you doing that? Why even do it in the first place? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think they're going to wait. Like, she seems pretty organized. He's like, ask her. I'm like, okay. He says he's too nerdy. I don't like him. But he does. It's so funny. But he knows him. He knows who he is. He knows what he is. I can tell you that. You look at my sister wrong. I don't like the guy. What? He says, when you get married, put his picture there. In fact, get a chair. In fact, make a wreath. He's talking about doing what was that about?
I was thinking about that. Like he must have been like in my mind. I'm like, I want to like full blown because me and my fiance were joking, like to get like a cardboard cutout of him and just like
Yeah.
place him there.
You were just thinking.
Yeah.
He is in your head. This is what
Yeah.
channeling is. This. He's like, he goes like this. He says, picture me. He goes, chair. He goes, wreath. He's like building it up. So like that. So no, he's like, yeah. What? He likes me. He likes this. He thinks it's very easy. No, he says, sorry. He calls me ma'am. That's so funny. What are you? Are you? Was he 19 when he crossed over? How old was he?
He was 18.
He was 18.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's 19 right now, or he's just hit 20. Yeah.
His birthday was
I go,
March.
how? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I go like this. I said, how old were you, bro? What? I said, you were a kid. Like, you're young. You're like, what, 15, 16? I said, why were you fucking around with drugs? What's going on with that? He goes, no. He's like, I'm about to be able to drink. I was like, no, you're not. Shut up. And that's that whole exchange. And I said, you're like, what? I said, you feel like me when I'm like 19. He's like, hmm. And I'm like, okay. So that's why I called him that. What? Isn't this odd? There's somebody talking in my head that's related to you. I just sit back sometimes. So tell me about her.
Who is it? Sorry.
No, it's your brother.
Oh.
I'm asking him to tell me about you. Do you wear a size 8 shoe?
I do.
I can't right now. I can't. How random. This is what he said. Hold on. He goes, I said, oh, somebody's talking in my head right now that's related to you. That's weird. And he says, come on, ask me anything. Ask me anything. I'll try to give it to you right. And I go, what? And he says, you want me to tell your shoe size? I was like, probably like a 6. And he goes, no, she has big feet. I was like, I wear a 9.5. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, okay, 8. And he was like, tell her. I was like, no, I can't tell her that. Do it. That's
My God, I can't.
Yes. Oh, that made me a little freaked out in a good way. What? Now I'm losing my concentration. He's like grabbing my shoulders, telling me that I got this. I got this. Like, we're all here. He's ready for it. What? What do you mean by that? Was he like 5'10"?
He was like pretty close, like 5'10", 5'11". Yeah.
11. Okay, this is what he does. He's in my body. I said, what are you doing? I said, get in my body. He's like, oh, he's like, I'm 5'11". And he goes, oh, he's like, wow, this kind of fits. He's like, you're a little skinny. You're a tall drink of water like me. I said, you're short though. And he goes, no, I'm not. We're the same height. And I'm like, no, we're not. That's why I confirmed that, because I'm like 5'10.5" going on 5'11". And he's talking about like with shoes on, I'm 6 feet. And I'm like, oh my God, whatever. And he's talking about if you gave me a little bit more, I would be like 6'2". I have a growth spurt. And I'm like, no, you don't. You stop growing. And then he makes a funny joke, like a dirty joke all at the same time, like all connected. It's so funny. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Tell me about. You haven't gotten his name tattooed on you yet?
No, oh my God. I have sketched out a tattoo that I want to get for him.
But it's a symbol, right? It's a symbol. It's like,
yeah.
This is what he says. This is what I was laughing at. I go, so what do you want to talk about? He makes me look down at his name and he says, when are you gonna get my name tattooed on you? And he says, what is this symbol shit? What is this symbol stuff? What is that? That doesn't mean anything about me. He's like, it's fine, but come on, Eden. And I'm like, okay. He's like, she's thought about it. I put it in there. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll ask her. She seems like she'd be pretty thorough. He's like, no, she's not. So please do that whenever you get a second. He says, I bet I can make your husband do it before you. He says, but it's okay because that's kind of gay, but I like it. Like, it's just a whole thing that he's like just joking about. He's like, maybe he likes me more. What is that about?
So before I even met my fiance, him and my fiance were like friends over Xbox. Like, he was 12 years old and they were buddies before I even met my fiance.
No wonder but that's why.
Yeah.
I've never heard. Yeah, he's talking about, he literally says the thing like no homo, which is just funny. Yes, and I'm like, what?
Always. They're always making jokes back and forth to each other.
Mm-hmm. How they love each other. It's a total thing. What? So did they do Call of Duty? Was that their thing?
That's all the time.
I go, what did you play? I'm a gamer. I go, what did you play? I said, what were you doing? He's talking about Xbox. And then he's talking about I go, man, I said, that sucks. I said, I'm a PC and I do PlayStation 5. He's like, wow. He's like, you have that? I said, what did you play? I said, I bet you did Halo. He was like, no, who does that? Like, how old are you? And I said, what? He's like, Call of Duty. I was like, okay, fine, I'll ask her about that too. He won. Hell yeah, we're connected. He loves you. Loves you, loves you. You have short fingers. You have short fingers. You have like little block hands. I mean, they're not little though, but they're like block hands. Are you okay? Yeah, he goes like this. He's talking about, he says, nice to meet you. I have these long ass fingers and hands. And he goes, I was like, oh, you have little meaty mitts, don't you? And you can see his little shorter fingers, and we're like shaking hands in my brain together. What? I didn't think this was going to be like this. This is a great session. Thank you for channeling your brother.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about this on live tomorrow. Are you okay with that? You just come on in. It's a whole thing. So what? Because he's in the higher vibration. He's not in a bad spot. He's petting. There's 2 dogs at mom's house.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. He's petting dogs. He pets dog. Then he pets another dog. Like that. And he goes, oh, come on, Tay. Like, why didn't you like bring one with you? Like, what is that? Why don't you keep one with you? And I'm just like, okay, I don't know if that's the thing. And he says they're with mom, or they're at mom's house. I go, fine. He says that you're going to be an apartment. Who gets a cat? You're not a cat person. Who's going to get a cat? Are you getting a cat?
I've been wanting to get a cat. My fiance's allergic, but I was going to go for the hypoallergenic cats. And I really want one. I work at a vet clinic and I see cats every day. I'm just like, oh man, I really want a cat.
I need you to get one. Yes, this is what your brother says. I said, why didn't she take the dog? Like, what's up with that? And he goes, she wants a cat. A cat. Like, I don't know why you would get a cat, but that's like a thing. And I go, he's like, you have one, but you know, whatever. And I'm like, no, she's not. She's a dog person. Like, dog people are dog people. He's like, no, ask her. Again. Oh, they poop all over her and she loves it. He's talking about you taking care of like the animals and how like you adore it. It's a whole thing. So it's a small vet clinic. So I mean, not small vet, but it's small animals. And it's small. Oh.
Yeah.
And it's tiny too. Okay. Yeah. He's talking about how when you pick them up or put them in little crates, you're like, and so it's tiny or it's small.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a whole thing. And he says, interesting. He's talking about if you went to school to be like this vet and you went back for like equine though, and like you can make a whole lot of money for like horse vet.
Yeah, I went to try like a vet tech school and it didn't work out. So I backed out of it really quick. But now I'm in this field being a vet assistant. And I was like thinking about it, teeter-tottering over it. And the vet clinic I work for is specifically like like the vet who owns it focuses more on like bigger animals. So like horses, cows, yeah, yep.
Shut up. Okay, this is what he said. All that went in my head before you were talking. You know, we have this sick horse, right? When we bought this property, we have this horse that and we can't find anybody to come out for it. So we had to like call a vet. They had to hire somebody to take the horse to it. It was a whole thing. And he's talking about, tell her she needs to do this because people like me need you and you would make a lot of money and you'd really love it.
Oh my God. Because I was like thinking in my head, because you had a live when you first introduced Bob.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like she could like see the doctor I work for. It would be fucking perfect because he is so good at what he does.
Good. Yeah. Do you see how we're all?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So he's like equating my life with yours and looping them in together. What? He tells me, don't you want him? He's cheersing. What are you cheersing to? What do you mean? Nobody's a Taurus, though. Is somebody a Taurus?
My stepdad.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And he doesn't particularly care for him a whole lot? Like, he's fine with
No,
him?
he
He's like,
didn't.
whatever.
He would always
love-
tell me that. Always.
Real?
Yeah.
Really? Okay. Yeah. He's like, cheers. And I go, what is that? I said, no, happy birthday. He said, well, it is a birthday. He says,
Oh.
but I got to be cordial.
It's his birthday.
You know, what is... He's a Taurus. He's a Taurus. He's a Taurus. He's cheersing with champagne because he can't be here. That's why he's disappointed, because he's not here on his birthday.
Oh my God.
What? Nobody made him cake. Nobody got him the cake.
Oh my God.
Did we used to blow out a candle? Did we get one last year for him? Mom did or something?
Used to do. Everyone had everyone's birthday. My mom would buy a cake and we would have people over, but they recently divorced, so he's by himself in an apartment. It's a whole big thing. I know.
Yeah. Wow. Interesting. He's sad about that. What? They argue all the time, though. I mean, he's saying it's better off this way. He says, I'm sad. He's like, but if you see it from the top down, oh my God. Which means they argue all the time. What? Maybe they tried to rekindle it. This is such an awkward thing he just said. He's talking about how, and this confirms something. He said it's weird that you can see people having sex. And I've never heard somebody say that before, but he just said it. And he says it's awkward because you're connected to these people that you love, but you're still around for that. And so it's what do you do? You know? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't really ever have spirits talk about that.
Yeah. It's oh my God, he's just watching everything.
Yes, because he can and he does, but he's talking about how he's
yeah, oh my God.
But it's an energy, it's a vibe.
Yeah.
What? Where were you at? Is he up north? Are y'all northern? Where are y'all from?
We're
North Central?
North.
Holy shit, no wonder hockey is a thing. That's why. That's freaking hockey. Okay. Interesting. Sorry, I'm from down here in Texas, right? We don't do anything like that. Right. He keeps talking about ice and skates and stuff like that. And I was like, are you in Minnesota? What is that? And he's talking about, no, dumbass, up north. He's talking about Canada area. He's she didn't say A, she's not Canadian. And so no wonder he's from where? Are you in the Buffalo area?
No, we're
Syracuse.
We're an hour away from the city.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, so you're right up there. Okay. Okay, interesting. I went to a place called, where did I go? Where was that called? It's fly fishing capital of the world, Beaver Kill, but Roscoe, New York. I went there, which is a whole nother area, but that's west. And he keeps talking about going this way. What? He has drink. Weird. Your brother adores you. I just realized what time it is and I have to go to my next session. But I want to tell you that your brother loves you. He is not in the middle vibration. He's just hanging out with you. He's going to be your guide. He knows your shoe size. This was such a fun,
Yeah.
interesting. He's so good. He knows how to work technology. He knows how to work my brain. And because your connection and you talking to him and you vibing with him, that's what makes this possible. So I want you to continue doing that. And I know you miss him, but I also want you to let you know that you have a really fun person with you.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. He just like did that to me. And I'm like, okay, so he's doing that to you too. He loves you. He's so jokey with you. He loves
Oh my
you
god, always.
always.
All the
Oh,
time.
did you physically print pictures out of him, but you haven't put them on the wall? Like they're just still like down in a book, like they're not up yet?
In my camera roll on my phone, I have a whole bunch of pictures of him.
Yeah. He says like this. He says, will you put my dumbass face like up on your wall? And I go, why? He's talking about how she has all of these photos of him, but they're not up or they're not out yet. And I was like, okay. And that's just another way of like keeping him around. Um, one, get a cat.
Kidding?
Okay. Get a cat. Name it after him. Okay.
For sure. I definitely will.
Please.
Yeah.
Please, and then send me a picture of it. So I love you. I gotta run. But if you need me, if you have any questions, if your mom does or anything like that, please let me know. This is he's a vibrant one. Got it?
Good. Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, Amy.
You're welcome. I love you, Taylor. And I'll send this to you tomorrow, okay?
Yes. All right, sounds good. All
Okay.
right, bye.
All right. Bye.